So what are you gonna do with your 25 grand brand deal?
Contrary to popular belief, after my Instagram post, it wasn't me. What are you gonna do with yours?
Well, it wasn't me either. Was it you? Was it Shmi?
No, I don't think it was Shmi. So we have a nice fun chat group with Shmi in it, and he actually sent it to us, saying, "Oh, can you believe this? I can't wait to see how this goes."
Exactly, and he posted also on his Instagram a story saying that he has nothing to do with 25 grand brand deal. What are we talking about? Yesterday, Chris Harris posted a tweet saying an influencer just offered my pal Litchfield UK the chance for him to put suspension on his Yaris GR for free and pay him £25,000 for the privilege, plus a percentage of future sales. He knows who he is, might tell you his name one day. Shameful. Now, I think it's a good topic to talk about in a bit.
I think it's a great topic, and the thing for me is, it wasn't me, because I wouldn't do it for less than 30 grand. So, I mean...
And, well, I'll tell you in a bit what I think of it, but...
well, the thing is, for me, I would talk about it, but I have some questions.
Exactly, me too, and I would like to ask Chris Harris a couple of questions, but we're not tier 1 enough to ask him, we don't have his contact. But I do have phone number of Iain Litchfield, because a few years ago we did some collab together. I did some videos of his GTR when Ice Cold Morris was attempting for a lap record. So, you know what? Let's give him a call. Find out what he thinks of it. And
so basically you have influenced for Litchfield before. Litchfield.
Maybe. Or was it more for Ice Cold Morris? So should I invoice 50 grand now?
Yep, definitely.
Because two parties are involved?
Definitely.
Maybe also Nissan on top, because that's also a third brand. And Nürburgring. It's easy getting rich.
Okay.
Okay, anyhow, let's give him a call.
Hello.
Hi, Iain.
Hi.
We have a Toyota Yaris here, and how about 20 grand?
Hello, Misha. Good to see you again.
Hey, Robert's here too.
Hello, Robert. Hello there.
So we're doing a video where we're talking about, obviously I imagine you know what we're doing a video about.
Oh yeah, good luck, yeah.
But the real question is, what's our opinion on it? And I have two issues before I can form an opinion, because one of my concerns is about this whole thing coming out. If you guys were in a discussion with, let's say, a social media entity or somebody that was going to do marketing for you, I don't personally feel comfortable with sharing that. So the first question I would have is, this influencer, was it basically a cold call to you guys, or was it something you guys were already in working relationship on this topic?
No, it was basically a cold call. It was an email to say, were we interested in supporting their project, and then effectively a call to say, well, what's come out basically, that would we give them suspension for their car? That's not such a problem. Would we pay them £25,000 as a brand ambassador for one video? It's like, well,
for one video?
One video only?
Pardon? One video? Yeah, I know. This is the thing. It's so ridiculous.
We're doing something wrong here.
and then the best bit is once they've done the video, then could they have a kickback on future sales?
Okay,
obviously, what everybody asks. So, yeah, he spoke to one of my colleagues, and then I almost couldn't believe it. So I had to listen to the phone recording myself to hear what was actually said, and then, yeah, I was somewhat annoyed.
Wow.
I've been doing this a long time now, and we deal with lots of good people, and we've never had that, really.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So the other question I have before I can form my full opinion is there any chance that we don't want to mention names? There's a lot of speculation as to who it was. We have no confirmation. That's not the point of our call to figure that out. But was there direct messages from this person, or could it even have been a management team where ignorance could be at play, or at least ignorance could be claimed later by the quote-unquote influencer?
It was the business team behind whatever the person, the entity, or whatever you want to call it is.
Got it.
The one that organises everything. I mean, it's kind of less about the individual for me. It's just about
the concept.
If this practice is going on, then that's a real concern, because it's not just a concern from the commercial side like ourselves. It's a concern for, I guess, other genuine people like you and the many influencers or social media people we've dealt with in the past, that it gives everybody a bad name. If people can't believe what they're seeing in terms of reviews or reading, then the whole thing falls down, doesn't it?
Well, it's something we've been fighting a lot lately with the whole joke of, tier one media and what is influencing. Misha and I have done tons of videos on those topics, and it really kind of plays into it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a very, very thin ice, and for me, it just felt like it crossed the line. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for the people in question, the next phone call I had was from Chris Harris, and he was equally annoyed, and then it kind of escalated from there, really. So yeah, just frustration and annoyance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another question that I have is actually there were, like you would say, two sides on social media when this news came out, and one side was like, somewhat not surprised or supportive of you, but some people from influencer camp, you would say, were asking, why did you actually disclose these details? How is this, like, what's your take on it?
Well, because it felt like a shakedown to me, like some sort of, if you're not playing the game, then someone else will, and it all came out of the blue, and I was extremely annoyed. And I guess anybody that was annoyed, in hindsight, you might do something differently, but it's not what we've ever done. It's not what I think the influencer. Well, we've dealt with people like, I said to someone earlier today, we've dealt with like Sam from Seen Through Glass, who did a video on his Carrarity. Mm-hmm. He emailed me and said, would we be interested in working with, would he mind having, would be able to do a video with us? He never asked for free parts. He paid his bill like everybody else, did a video, because the commodity was the video. That's what he earns his money off. If I get a phone call from Evo magazine and say, do you want to come on Evo Car of the Year, which we've done many times in the past, and I say, I'd love to come on Evo Car of the Year, and then they say, yeah, but there's a small matter of £25,000, and of course any other Nissan or Subaru or whatever it is you sell afterwards we want to cut. That's wrong. That's fundamentally wrong. So that's what frustrated me and annoyed me. If I'd approached this company or this person and said, I'd like you to help promote my business, he's entitled to charge whatever he wants. That's a completely different concept. Mm-hmm. But that's not what happened. They approached us for help with something, and then proceeded to try and say that we should give them money for helping them do a project. And the project felt like it was no longer about the car. It was an excuse for extracting the maximum monetary value out of something. Yeah. And that's very different to what we've been doing with people in the media, whether it's influencers or not, in the past. The commodity was the car, and the video that they were going to earn their money from, that's their business. Mm-hmm. And we'd help them where we can, but it's very different from trying to ask for cash.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. You kind of mentioned it in your answer along the lines to my following question that I would have is, how do you look at influencer marketing in general? Like do you do that, or like, do you have any problems with it?
I think to begin with, it was a bit awkward and clunky, but I see it now as just another part of the media. I've until yesterday, I had no problems with it at all. It makes sense. YouTube's a really useful platform. I personally watch YouTube videos and find them interesting. I like what you guys do, but there's a line, isn't there? And I think when you go over that line, you're allowed to be frustrated if it's you, and maybe we go about things the wrong way and could have done things differently. But that's not to say it's any less irritating or frustrating. Yeah. So, I've got no problem with influencers at all.
Yeah, makes sense. Something else. When are you coming back with the GTR to the ring?
As soon as we're allowed. We're literally ready to go. So as soon as we're allowed, any excuse to come over.
All right. Well, I've got one, because there was a guy on Chris Harris's Twitter. Somebody said, I know who it was. 100%. It was Robert. And they said it because of my Instagram post.
You're way more expensive than $25,000.
Well, this is my question, because somebody responded with, they said, I know it's not Robert. He only has 55,000 followers, and there's no way he's getting free stuff. So my question to you is, have you ever watched my channel?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Do you think I could get free stuff somewhere?
Possibly.
Yeah,
Depends what it is.
Possibly depends what it is. Maybe a Snickers, right?
Yeah, maybe a sticker. Yeah, you could have a sticker.
Good. Well, cool. Iain, thank you very much for your call. By the way, we are actually already filming. Do you mind if we put it in a video?
You can if you like, yeah.
Okay.
Now, so
cool. Well, you have about 1 hour to decide otherwise before it goes live. So I don't think you said anything bad. And yeah, 2 years ago when GTR was there, I jumped in and made a few videos for free. Next time we're going to talk about further terms and conditions, huh?
And if you do make it back to the ring...
An invoice for the, I don't know how many views it's had, but just send an invoice for it. Obviously an invoice for any future parts that I sold off the back of that video.
But
seems fair.
And I can guarantee you're only getting back to the ring if there's a Snickers and a Coke.
Okay, well I look forward to catching up with you guys soon.
Cool. Thank you very much, Iain, and looking forward to seeing you at the ring again.
Perfect. Well,
thank you.
Guys. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was, I don't know, expected, unexpected?
It was enlightening for me because, like I said, I had some questions that helped me understand what my thoughts are on it, because I was really concerned, was it like, okay, we're already in talks about this specific topic.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, my GR Yaris build plans and your suspension, and you said, well, what would you charge to do this? And I said 25,000. Oh, we're going to blast you out now.
Yeah.
If it's a cold call from a marketing team, that's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
But I can also say it might also be frustrating for this influencer if their marketing team is going out maybe a little bit more aggressively. It's hard to say, but I think we should get into our theories behind it a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, at this point, the only thing that we can expect or hope for is a reaction.
Right. Because
until that point, people will keep on speculating what has happened or what has not happened. So I think now it's time to give kind of our opinion on this topic.
Yep.
And again, we would like to hear and know your opinion in the comments below, but this is just our opinion. We're not saying that this is black or white. I'm going to say my take on this from the influencer point of view, or I would say content creator, because me, among with many others like you, hate the term influencer because unfortunately it has gotten a very negative feel to it, negative sound to it because of the practices like these. It's not the most ridiculous or outrageous or crazy number that I have seen personally or heard about being into existence or like being proposed from an influencer to themselves directly or from their marketing agency towards someone else, towards other company. And the issue that you get because of that is you damage the whole YouTube car culture. Of course, there are bad things around it, but these like limited low numbers of people damage it for the whole community, because you have this current example, an influencer reached out and then the company says like, what the hell is this even? And then the next influencer would reach out and say like, hey guys, I want to make some content with you, would you mind if I come make a video? He's not even going to get a reply because people are going to think like, dude, no way, like he's going to ask another 50 grand, 100 grand or more. It's just like absolutely big no. I have a personal example when, for example, 2019, I was traveling with WRT, the race team, and when they approached me and said like, hey Misha, would you like to come make some videos? And I said, yeah, sure. And I said, what do you want to in return for that? They're like, well, obviously if we're going to go to the other part of the world, it would be nice if you cover my accommodation, my flights and hotel. And on top, if I'm being away from the Nürburgring where I make my money with content or help Apex out, it would be nice if you just cover, like compensate me that for a couple of hundred or whatever euros. And I said, that's absolutely fine, makes perfect sense to us. But we talked to someone else previously, and she or he asked like for a 5-figure sum, first class flights, and we said like, well, we're just gonna try Misha, but afterwards we might just like forget about the influencer deals and just go along our way. So this damages kind of this whole community inside. And then finally, of course, the people themselves gonna see it as influencers are douchebags, like from the community perspective. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. In this such a far extent, it was, I think, a bit too far. Of course, the question is, where do you draw the line?
I think it's tricky. Where do you draw the line? I mean, let's really take this
to the basis.
Yeah, I want to do a whole video on it because I was like, I could talk on this for a half hour.
Of course.
And it's so complex because the simple reality is one aspect of it is we look at sports.
Yeah.
Okay. The Super Bowl just happened in the United States. For a 30-second ad spot, $5.5 million to pay CBS or whoever it was just to get a 30-second ad spot. $5.5 million. Okay. That's what these companies are paying to get this ad spot. Then you have to pay your actors, your film crews, and all this stuff on top. You might have a $10 million production or more just to get your ad for 30 seconds on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's what that's at. We have, in marketing of a person, you have resumes, and your resume pitches you for a job, and you go and apply for jobs with a resume, and you cold call companies, and you go to companies and say, I would like to work for you. Okay? You guys do it to Apex, about 50 of you every month, cold call Apex with a resume asking for money in return for work. And we are not posting resumes out there, but I'm not blasting you guys on the internet for doing so. You're asking me for money in exchange for a service because you want to do it. Now, the big difference is that you guys, when you do that, or not all of you, but the people of you that do that, are doing this because you love the product. You want to be a part of Apex. You want to be a part of a fun and exciting team at an amazing place, the Nürburgring. So there's a passion behind it. So I certainly hope that this influencer or this influencer's marketing team did it because they truly loved the product and truly wanted to be a part of that. Now, there's a such thing called a press kit. And a press kit is what you might put together to show your social media credentials and your social media value that has reach, number of followers that you have, references, etc. And that's how you can determine how much money you can charge from somebody. And oftentimes press kits are delivered free of charge.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of things that we do at Apex are influencer deals. We do. But when we do it, we tell you guys about it, and it's on products that we want to use. Okay? Do we work with JRZ? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we work with companies like Manti Racing? For sure. Nanking, Liquid Molly. Yeah, we do. But you guys know about it because we come out with a Liquid Molly banner draped around us in the winter and umbrellas, having fun with it. But we use those products because we want to use those products. We use those products because we enjoy them, and we probably already were using them even before a deal came out.
And sometimes against their will, we say we're not going to run only you exclusively because we believe you offer the great product, but we also want to work with other brands.
We believe that this product fits here, here, and here.
Exactly.
So you'll see that we run JRZ suspension on pretty much all of our
80%,
stuff.
90% of cars.
But we have Nitron suspension on our Shermer cars because Tom works so well with the Nitron suspension, makes it amazing. And then on our
Manti Racing,
Manti cars like the GT2 and this car coming up, the Yaris, we're going to be putting KW on it. And that's because Manti works with them and has that relationship, and that's how we're going to extract the best product working with the best partner on this.
Exactly. And then people sometimes joke why you have Nanking stickers but you're on Michelin tires.
And that's because on the summer or on the dry we're running the Nanking tire, and in the wet we're running the Michelin. And we didn't have a brand deal with Michelin at the time, so we didn't run a Michelin sticker. We did have a deal with Nanking where we were getting discounts or whatever, and so we ran a Nanking sticker. And these are all the things that we would do. And I'm at the point where I honestly don't know if I have as big of a problem with what this influencer did, because oftentimes marketing yourself is cold calls. That's how a lot of stuff happens in this world, whether we like it or not. I get so irritated when I get a cold call, I just hang up. Right? Sometimes I play with them, we record it, we'll do some screenshots, put it on Instagram, and yes, we'll make fun of it. But I don't know if I have that big of a problem because it's as easy just to hang up and move along, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to ask ourselves, is this culture of getting paid to do things affecting the truth coming out about a product?
I think this is the main issue here, is because we're not talking just about a marketing service.
Right.
If I would be like a marketing agency like Ocean or whoever does like for Porsche and Audi, and I would call Litchfield or whoever and say like, hey, I'm gonna make a kick-ass Super Bowl campaign for you, or I'm gonna make a cool campaign, I'm offering you service, a campaign, this is what's gonna include, this is what's gonna cost. That's a service of its own.
Right.
The issue that once you start bringing in influencers is the reason why people follow influencers is because they follow there because they believe that they're passionate about the car culture, about the product, about the integrity of the whole thing around it. And once you start, of course, at the end of the day, everyone needs to make money. And then that's why other influencers are kind of, they disagree with this whole situation, is because when you are an influencer, there are so many ways to actually make a living out of it. You have, first of all, you have the monetization of your content, where you get money for YouTube through AdSense. You have, or the indirect monetization, where you say, okay, people pay for the subscription based. Then you have the merchandise. Basically, you can sell merch, etc. And then you can have the business related from your brand in general. This means
brand deals.
Well, not only brand deals. You, for example, from Apex, if I would say, okay, I'm an independent instructor, I charge instructions, I make videos about Nürburgring, I show how good of an instructor I am, come, and that's going to be an extra income on top of this. What here happened was just too much, I think, at some point. That's what a lot of people say, like, it's fine if you're going to get a free product, like we sometimes do get at Apex, and you're going to talk about it and you give your honest opinion, and in return for your time that you're going to talk about the product and the time that you invested to grow your social media following, that's what your payment is going to be, the free product. And then hopefully you're just going to be honest about it, and give your opinion. But here was a bit too much with 25K and the 10%.
We do have another situation we need to look at, because I always like to look at things from different perspectives. I think that's really important in any argument.
Of course.
I was recently able to go to SSC, to Florida with SSC to watch them run that car and to verify the numbers and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
Misha and Tim were both invited. Had Misha or Tim been able to go, they probably would have been able to cover their costs for this travel with the numbers they got from YouTube revenue. Maybe. For me, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
There's not even a chance I could ever recover what I'm doing with my revenue from YouTube. There's just no way I could do it. So if I was to go and say I'm going to verify these numbers and do this, and I have to do everything I do on YouTube at a loss. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. So the more that I do, the more I have to look at numbers and say, ooh, does it make sense to do that? And believe me, there was times when people said, oh, is SSC paying you to come? They're buying your flights, right? I'm like, no, they're not. Yeah. Well, why not? You should ask them. And I said, yeah, well, I would love to ask them, because who wouldn't like to get their flights, their hotel, their food, all of that reimbursed? But at the same time, we have a relationship with the audience who is built literally through a camera. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a camera saying, you guys, we've built a relationship through this camera, and you guys rely on me, you guys rely on Misha, all these other people to give you straight talk, no bullshit.
Yeah.
And if I got paid by SSC to go get free flights, get free wine and dine, hotels, etc., then all of a sudden my view could be skewed on it.
Yeah.
And we have a very fine line that we have to walk to get deals with certain brands, but make sure that those are actually brands that we would have been using otherwise. Because if we weren't using those brands otherwise, and we're only using them because we're getting paid, we would actually now just be full of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right. I have a small channel. I get messages constantly, Robert, we should do something. We want to do this, we want to do that. But it's not brands that we work with. It's not stuff that we were buying before anyways.
Exactly. No, that's for me the same. Like, we get lots of brand requests, and like from mobile games who pay big money for it, like other like gadget brands from Asia who make all kinds of products, and just say no, because this is not what we want to promote. This is not what we are behind. This is going to damage our integrity. And I don't want to have like a one-time €2,000 payment or whatnot. I'm fortunate enough to have a good following and earn through AdSense. Like,
and then all of a sudden, everyone questions everything you do from there on out.
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
and whoever this influencer is, everybody now questions every move they've made.
Yeah.
Every product they show, everything they do looks paid for now. And now you have to go back and ask, what about everything that's happened up to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we can continue talking about it for hours. We're like 20 plus minutes into this, but I think it's more interesting for us. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on the whole situation? We always push for transparency and journalistic integrity.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
Especially in this case also.
Yeah, it is. I think that's a huge topic right now, is we're transitioning from magazines and newspapers being the prevalent source of information to independent people who might have no training and might just be telling you, hey, you should trust me because I have X number of hundreds of thousands of followers. You should believe everything that I say. And all of a sudden, we're no longer getting paid by a magazine to do our job. We're getting paid by the company that we're talking about to do the job.
And on top, you have, on the other hand, you have also managers of other companies who are going to say, like, yeah, great, you have 1 million followers. Let's do it.
Yes.
And I can show it to my boss that I did this amazing marketing performance through you. Everybody happy.
And this is why I'm not so critical of it, because whereas I wouldn't pay anybody that came to me, I am certain there are companies that would.
Oh, yeah.
I'm certain that there's companies that would see a value in it, and there are probably companies that would have been thankful for it. The marketing team for whoever this person was needs to take their heads out of their butts and realize there were 25,000 GR Yarises being built. We asked for £1 per car being built. The number was way too high.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like telling Toyota we want 1 per car. We're telling a small manufacturer of performance parts that we want. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can continue to talk about it for many a long time. As mentioned, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think of the whole situation, honestly. What do you think of our brand deals?
I think they're good.
Yeah. I actually had only 1 paid brand deal so far, because I really had to think about it. Like, am I like talking out of my ass, or like no, I only had 1 paid brand deal, and it was mandatory because it was Porsche who requested to promote Formula E. If they said like, hey, you're gonna do it for free, like, hell yeah, I go to Frankfurt Motor Show and race against Nürburgring. But it was like PR versus marketing. Maybe it's like another topic to tell you what's the difference between PR and marketing.
I think that's huge, and I think,
yeah,
you know, about our brand deals, like I say, we always talk about who we work with and who we're associated with, and when it comes to each of these, it's all stuff that we were using beforehand.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, and it has to be organic. You know, it has to be, you know, why, not saying we have brand deals from every company I'm going to mention, but why did we run McLarens as taxis? Why did we?
Because you strive to be tier 1.
I want to be tier 1. You know, they told me I wasn't tier 1. I said, watch this. No, but those were the cars that I enjoyed driving on the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Why did we run Schirmer cars as taxis? Because that's what wow, some ice flying there. That was what I enjoyed driving on the track.
Not hot enough.
Why do we like working with Manthey Racing? Because they bring an atmosphere and an attitude and excitement to the Nürburgring racing that's unparalleled right now.
Yeah.
And you have to work with companies that you're truly passionate about, because when you do that, you're not advertising, you're just sharing your excitement for it, and that's how it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to say goodbye for the 3rd time now. Thanks for watching. I hope GoPro kept recording. Let's try.
I just shut it off there for you, Misha.